Wessex Mint live extended session we're hosting this afternoon, coming to you to explain all of the great differences between gold and silver and why owning something really tangible that sits currently outside of the system is going to be so valued to you in 2026 and beyond. Gold and silver are precious metals and they're so important into the way our economy works. And if you're someone like me that's really keen to have a look and find out some more information, well, you are definitely here at the right place. And maybe you've got years and years and years of expertise within the marketplace and you're here to maybe give some advice yourself. I'd love to hear from you. What I've got is I've got the chat open down the bottom there. So please introduce yourself, come and say hello. It's so nice. This is a great space to share information, have a talk within a community on the Wessex Mint. We can discuss things like the advantages of gold over silver, or why maybe the advantages of having one in your portfolio over the other might work for you. Silver's really accessible, and we'll learn a little bit more about that as we continue, but that might be accessible to you for a personal reason. So please just let me know. I'd love to hear your information, or perhaps come and just say hi. There's no need to rush. There's no need to take decisions immediately on purchasing today. I have both gold and silver ready available to collect through the Wessex Mint, and you can start saving immediately with us. So please do come and say hello. Like I said, my name's Mike. If you're just joining us now, you haven't missed anything so far. We're still saying hello, still welcome each other, still time to go and get that cup of tea, and we can sit down and have a look this afternoon in this sort of short, sharp session where we can answer a few questions, have a look who's looking at gold, who's looking at silver, who's looking at precious metals as a whole, and who really wants to diversify their portfolio in 2026 with the Wessex Mint. So first of all, what is the Wessex Mint? Well, it's a great platform. It's a great community. We have invented a fantastic way for you to have real, tangible gold and silver delivered to your door every single month as part of your commitment to grow your financial assets with hard cash assets, tangible gold and silver that you own. Here they are. So this represents 2 gold bars. These are 1 200th ounce, and they are available to you every single month. Look how fantastic they are in that design there. You can choose a design. We've got loads online. Have a look through. Got some fantastic animals, some fantastic heritage, really collectible and really enjoyable to actually look at, but they do have that value attached to them, which you're going to be able to lock in with gold for the next 6 months. And I'll talk to you about that in a minute. There's your 2 bar. That's your easiest way to get into it, that 1 200th ounce of gold. Now, if you're looking at that and you're thinking, I'd quite like to increase that, well, then you can go for the 4. And this really does represent your middle way of saving with us with the gold each month. And that represents 5% discount as well. So that's a great entry point. If you're looking to get a really great price for your gold locked in for the next 6 months, you can do that for you. And it's a lovely maple leaf design I've got on this. So for our friends watching in Canada, hi to you, and all around the world. If you have just joined us, my name's Mike. I work for the Wessex Mint. I'm really here to talk about how gold and silver and precious metals can really diversify your portfolio in 2026 and how we can all grow together to become the best possible versions of our own financial self possible. So if you're looking at that, that's going to represent your 5% saving. And then what we can do then is increase that to 8 gold bars every single month. Here's another one for you. They're going to come through your door, fully insured, fully guaranteed, making sure you have all of that lovely information and those actual products on your doorstep, insured every single month. And that's a really great point to mention, because a lot of people, we had a few questions in the last session around security and around delivery. So just to reiterate and touch on that, you are going to be the only person that knows what's on there. If you're on the outside, you're not going to know what's on the inside. It's discreet, insured packaging. So we really do encourage security and making sure your investments are private, because they are personal to us. You know, if you want to share information about gold and silver, I really do encourage that. But when it comes to your own own personal finances, make sure that those are kept personal to you. So that's a quick little bit about gold for you. Been around for the last 5,000 years. We all seem to hold that gold has really built empires, destroyed empires, transitioned through governments, but gold has remained the same. And it's really that show of wealth that you can see it, you know it's beautiful, you know it's that lovely color in those lovely designs that are going to be held in your hand as tangible evidence to what you actually own. No one else is going to be touching that. That is purely in your hand, in your pocket, in your safe every single month. But perhaps you're looking at that and actually you think, you know what? Maybe I want to have a look at silver as well. Now, silver has a real world application. So what I'd like to do is just explain quickly about how silver works and some of the differentiations to gold. Then we'll go on and talk about the Wessex Mint as a collection, as a whole, so you can see what's available. Feel free to jump on the chat. I really do encourage as much talking points as possible. Great even just to say hello, who's watching, where are you from, what's your plans for 2026 in regards to your personal finances with precious metals. It's so important to do that. I can see plenty of you are on. I can even see we've got a number of sort of gold and silver in the baskets already, so it'd be great to know who's sort of got it in there and why you've particularly chosen that, because your information might help someone else and that'll make you feel really good about yourselves in all connection with the fact that you're making a great decision to here today and for the rest of 2026 and beyond, because this does transist in those generationals as well. So we're here for a quick session. The live chat is open the entire time. You can talk to me whenever you like. Please don't be shy. I don't bite, I promise. Ask questions, say hello, and you can just listen. Some people really do stay for 10 minutes. Some people stay for hours. It's entirely up to you. We're going to be running this one for as long as possible. And I work with physical gold and silver. That's real assets, things that you own outright. And that's so important that you remember that, because you do actually own this one outright. This isn't stocks and shares where it's part of something and maybe it's a number on a screen. It's absolutely perfect. So why are we really here? Well, most people are not here by accident. You've tuned in today for a purpose. You've said I wanted to come and say hello for a reason. This isn't a headline. This isn't a crisis. This isn't some sort of feeling. It's just at the moment we know that something isn't right in the marketplace out there. Financial institutions maybe don't have our best interests at heart as we once thought. So I've certainly seen it with some of my savings. It's that sort of sense that, I don't know, things aren't quite right. And it's certainly very unclear to what that is. So just relying on one plan maybe doesn't feel as wise as it once did. And this is a great time then to jump into those precious metals that sit outside that financial system. And perhaps that's not you, but perhaps you things like say, oh, I just feel a bit uneasy, I don't know why. Or even I've heard myself saying that recently when I've looked at my savings and looked at my investment portfolio, and I thought, this doesn't seem to be performing in the same way that it used to. And I certainly wonder to myself, what was to happen if something were to happen? And again, this isn't fear mongering. This isn't trying to cause some sort of fever pitch. This is really just relating things that I'm seeing out there in the real world and how I can maybe give you the best information to do that as well. So if that's you, well, I don't think you're wrong, first of all, because I've heard myself sort of behaving and acting like that, certainly over the last couple of years. It's not too late. And now's the same time. It just really shows that you are paying attention to what's out there, and it's really important. So this is where people come and they want some grounding. This is, like I said, that safe space where you can ask those questions free of the knowledge. I'm not represented by big financial institutions or big banks or anything like that. This does sit away from that. Precious metals are going to really give you that peace of mind. So let's talk about gold. That's your first layer as well. Now, gold is not exciting, but it's exactly why it's exciting. If that's why it works. Does that make sense? So gold is not exciting, but it's exactly for that reason that does make it exciting. And that's why it works. I think that's the really great way to describe gold. It's that anchor. It has been used for thousands of years, and it does really completely stand alone outside of those financial systems we touched upon purposely. And people don't buy gold to feel clever. They buy gold to feel calm. And certainly whenever I put my money into the Wessex Mint and into those tangible assets that I receive each month in that insured delivery coming directly to my door, I feel a really calm decision was made. And it's formed a lovely habit that I'm maintaining and keeping month in, month out as I watch that portfolio grow. I know when I first purchased my gold, I had 6 months price lock promise on that. So I'm paying exactly the same price for my gold I did today as I will do in 6 months' time, regardless of market fluctuations. And that's lovely peace of mind. If that gold does increase in the next 6 months, I'm paying exactly the same price as I paid back in January. And I really want to let that sink in, because that's that transparency of the Wessex Mint. We love to make sure that you feel secure when you're buying your precious metals through us on that subscription service, and you can have that really nice peace of mind that A, you've made a great financial decision, but you've made it with a trusted partner. Now at the Wessex Mint, we're not just here for gold and silver investments, absolutely not. A large part of what we do, and certainly where I spend a lot of my focus, is the educational part. So check out the Wessex Mint Academy. There you're going to find really short, sharp, clear videos that are going to answer loads of key questions for you. We've also had guides then produced by the Wessex Mint with using all of our expertise. These are so informative, are going to give you that real peace of mind that you've put your money into an organisation that have your best interests at heart, because we want to grow together to ensure those long-term financial decisions are started off on the right foot. And that's so, so important. That's why we offer that buyback guarantee. Check that out online. All the information is on your screen, and also why we have that price lock promise. We had a question earlier as well, and I think I'm going to bring that one up again now, because it seems like a really poignant task, which is, that sounds wonderful, Mike, that's great. What if my financial situation changes? What happens if I decide I no longer want to deal in precious metals? Well, look, that's absolutely fine. We are so transparent when it comes to our way of working, because it has to be a two-way street. So I implore you to have a look at the option for you there to cancel, to pause, to increase, to decrease at any single time. That will be affected in your next month. You haven't got to wait 6 months until that price lock finishes, or a year. This isn't a contract you're entering. This is a month by month precious gold subscription delivered insured to your door. And you're going to open it up and see those lovely gold. Look at those two gold eyes staring at you each month. And you're going to absolutely enjoy that. Now that's a fantastic way to get into gold, is there's these 1 200th ounce bars. This is going to be your best entry point if you're looking at gold. If what I'm saying to you is really resonating about gold being not exciting, and it's an anchor and it's steady, and you're making that decision from a calm period today, look at getting 2 gold bars delivered to your door every single month from the Wessex Mint. If you want to represent an increased saving, let's create that up to 4 gold bars. Pick your design, click gold, put it in the basket, check it out immediately, and you're going to be having that coming to your door straight away, insured. No one is going to know what's in there but you, and you'll get those lovely 4 bars. And aren't they fantastic? Look at the way they glisten in the light there. Look at that. They're just wonderful. I could stare at gold all day. There's something really captivating about it. Not only that, you get a 5% saving if you go for the 4. And then if you do actually go double that up to the 8, you're going to get 10%, and then 6 months price lock promise on that. So that's 10% extra saving, and then 6 months price lock promise on 8 gold 1 200th ounce bars. Look at them. 2 different designs I've got here. I've got I've got the Britannia in that one, Canada in that one. Beautiful designs. Have a look at those online. They are wonderful. They're coming to your door straight away. And it's really, really important. Let me explain gold another way to you. Gold is all about preservation. It's about saying choosing, not necessarily choosing growth, not necessarily choosing gambling, but you're protecting what you already have. Let that resonate for 1 second. We're not talking gambling here. We're not necessarily talking about the price increasing month on month and cashing in and doing these sort of trades that you're seeing online. What we are doing is we're seeing that lovely growth potential. And it's worked hard for so many years, and you've worked so hard for your money as well. If you're anything like me, you sweat in your job and you care so much about that. You want to try and protect it. If you've accumulated that wealth already, gold is a great way to preserve that. Gold cannot be created. It does not erode. It is a precious metal that will increase over time if the market allows it. And that's a really important factor to remember. It is not exciting, although I have just mentioned it in quite an exciting way. And it's through that non-excitant that you can create all those lovely, great plans for your financial future and your families as well. And that's so, so important. So let me talk about silver for you, because silver is really about layering. You've got your gold anchor in place. Maybe you're looking at getting one of those in the baskets. Now, we've had a few more pop into the basket as well, guys. So I don't know if that's gold or silver. I can't see from my screen here. So do let me know if you are choosing gold, if you are choosing silver this afternoon. I'd love to hear what are those reasons, what are the driving points for that, because they're going to make other people make the decision as well. Or perhaps you're looking at gold and you really want to jump back into silver. Maybe you've already traded in silver because it's so accessible. We'll talk about why that is accessible in a minute and how you can get into that. But also it would be a great way then to diversify that portfolio completely. Maybe you've got money in cash, maybe you've got money in foreign currency, maybe you've got money in ISAs, savings, blah, blah, blah. The list is endless that you can have digital numbers on the screen. But wouldn't it be great to have that in the palm of your hand delivered every single month? And that's why it's so, so important we do that. Silver is used every single day, and you might not even realizing it. You might even be using a gadget or piece of technology at the moment that contains silver. In fact, I probably wager you are. It is used in healthcare, it is used in big industry, it is used in so many renewable energy applications, which we're only seeing increase as well. Silver is really high in demand at the moment, and that's partly because it is used so prevalently in all these lovely technological devices that we rely on every single day. Now, you've only got to do the calculation in your mind once and it's exactly where I landed on when I was looking at silver, which is, ironically, I was using a device that contained quite a large amount of silver when I was doing that. And it's only through research I learned which ones they are, but you'd be so surprised how many applications around your house and pieces of equipment you even own yourself have particles of silver in them. Now, that then particles of silver add up en masse, and they're really hard then to remove from the product. And that provides a really interesting scarcity element that silver hasn't quite seen before. And that's why we're seeing that demand skyrocket. Now, the same as gold with the precious metals, you can't create silver. It does not erode. It certainly has more real world applications than gold. And that's why we saw 167% growth last year on that. You've only got to look at the numbers and look at where technology is going. If you open every single page at the moment of the newspaper or online, we're seeing so much about technological advances, so much about artificial intelligence. All of these systems are used in real world applications that contain silver. And if you think to yourself, in 12 months' time, in 6 months' time, in 1 month's time, are we going to be using more of those qualities of that product? Is that something I can see growing or dwindling? And you make that decision on your mind. I know which one I'm going to go for. I totally think in 12 months' time, I'll have an extra camera here. I'll have an extra laptop in front of me. I'll have even more technology we haven't even thought about creating yet available to us. And we'll use it as second nature like we do already. And I guarantee that product is going to have elements of silver in. Creating that sparsity within your portfolio is a nice demand, and that's why silver is not only accessible, but it's really just held. Different to gold where we hold it, silver is used. And there's the two differences for you there. So if you're looking at team silver, if you're looking at team gold and you can't decide which one to go, you can use those mindset. Is gold going to increase in value? If it is, great. I want to make sure I'm holding the maximum amount of that possible, so when the time comes, I'm going to be in control of my financial future. Do you think technology is going to be on the rise? Do you think month on month in 2026, 27, 28, all the way up until the future, we are going to be using more technological things in our cars, in our industry, in our renewable energies, healthcare? If those decisions you're making today are based on that increasing, then I think personally, and I can't give you any financial advice, nor would I attempt to, but I do actually increase my silver holding based on the fact that those possible scenarios are very likely to happen. And I think they're very likely to happen probably between now and when we next have a talk about this. And it's great to see that working because I can actually hold those silver bars, and here they are for you. This is what 48 1-gram silver bars represents. And this represents a 5% saving on your silver. This is the middle way to do it. I've got here an example of what 28 looks like, sorry, or 24 looks like. This is the kangaroo design, one of my personal favorites. I hope you can see that on there. And this is a great way to jump into silver. You've got 24 of these 1-gram bars. They're going to hit your doorstep every single month, and they are price locked for the whole of this year. That is 12 months. I can't believe I'm saying that. And I just talked to you about what I think will happen with silver based on the application. So if you're sat there going, I think Mike's right, I can imagine us using more technology throughout this year, and I'd love to get involved in precious metals, but I don't really know where to start. Maybe my budget isn't quite there for gold just yet. Then silver has to be something you consider. So do look at popping those 24 into your basket. If you're then looking to increase that, here's again what 48 will look like. They're 1-gram bars. They feel lovely to hold in my hand. That is something I own. No one is taking that away from me. That is my quality product. I can choose to keep that. I can choose to sell that back. I can then keep it maybe for generations. Maybe I want to pass that down to my children, to my grandchildren. That is something they can use every single time in the future. And do we think that's going to be increasing in value based on the technological and real world scenarios in which silver is consumed at the moment? I would bet, and I'm not a gambling man, that it would be. And that's why I choose to invest heavily in both gold and silver, but silver certainly for its real world applications. That's a 5% saving if you go there for the 48, and then you're going to get 10% saving if you go for the 96. And let me just show you what 96 looks like. It's 2 of those lovely packs delivered every 2 months. There's a Springbok on the left, and then on your right here is the Canadian flag, the maple leaf, and it looks great. I know we've got lots of viewers watching this all around the world, so wouldn't it be nice to have some really nice silver with that Canadian stamp on there? Or maybe you're based out in South Africa. It's a fantastic market. Look at that. And that's that lovely little Springbok on the back as well, jumping with joy. And you're going to be jumping with joy when you get those 96, oh my God, 96 bars through your door every single month, secured, insured, and delivered. You're going to love holding them. You're going to love talking about them, putting them into the safe, watching every single month as that increases. Just imagine that growing. Imagine a little montage in your head with some really nice 80s disco retro music as each bar increases every single month and you're stacking up that wealth. There's a really great scene in a famous gangster movie where the money just keeps going up and up and up. And every time I watch that, although it's a gangster movie and nothing to do with this, I just love the increase of physical wealth that I can see in my hand and I can actually relate to my mind. My hard-earned time and money actually then equates to something that I can hold physically in my hand. So there's gold, that's your anchor. Silver is your growth potential, 167% last year as well. We've just had a quick question come through. Let me just see if I can quickly read this one to you this afternoon. Silver looks fantastic. Would be great to have them all. What a great collection. Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I love that. So that's someone that's looking at this and really hearing what we're talking about this afternoon together. I've seen another, I've seen another thing go in the basket. I can't decide if that's silver or gold, so please let me. Maybe that was you there. You didn't put your name, but thank you very much. Those designs, having those available to you, they're great. If this is going to be talking points, like I said earlier, if this is going to be something where you can really look at those silver, let's just see them again. Let's look at that Springbok again for you. There you go. That's for 24 1 gram bars. Look at that. That's, you can see it shining. That looks stunning. And I would love that in my collection. And maybe you are a bit of a collector. Maybe you're someone that does like designs. Maybe you want to, you know, I certainly was very heavily into the Pokemon trading card game as a child, so I loved having all of those available to me. And now that same collection spirit has transformed into precious metals, and now having all of those lovely designs in my pocket, in my safe at home, I can actually have and hold them and look at them, and I get some enjoyment from that. And I know I mentioned to you earlier, precious metals isn't about that necessary excitement, but I think that's where the excitement comes from, is you can actually see it. If you invest into your ISA, if you invest into your stocks and shares portfolio, great, you know, you've made a great commitment. I'm sure you've done a really good thing, but it is a number on a screen. It is remembering a password. There's no excitement, there's no intrinsic value that comes towards having something tangible in your hand every single month, delivered, insured to your door with the Wessex Mint. Quickly going to say goodbye to you guys now. I've really enjoyed doing this sharp session just after lunch. If you're watching this on repeat, please do ask the questions. I'll be able to get back to you and hopefully give you some answers on there. I'm so keen for everyone to check out the Wessex Mint Academy. There you're going to find some really short, clear videos that answer loads of questions. We've made some wonderful, informative guidelines and guidance videos on there with all of our experience here to help you make the best possible decisions, but not just now, but for the future as well. I've been Mike. I've loved your company this afternoon. Thank you so much for allowing me into your homes to talk about this. I'll be back probably this afternoon having another catch up with everyone. Love to see how you got on. If you've got those in your baskets, do check them out now. Let me know after the chat if you went for gold or silver. I'd love to hear from you, hear what you've got to say, because this to me is such an important community I'm proud to represent and proud to be a part of. Have a fantastic afternoon, and I will catch up with you a little bit later on. Take care now. Bye-bye.